family. If you're in or near Columbia, South Carolina, you've got to visit the House of Hathor, located at 6319 North Main Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday, it's your one-stop shop for African clothing, African masks, natural soaps, incense, candles, jewelry, and more. Plus, they've got a beautiful event space. Owned and operated by Baba Rutaski and Mama Neterma Canute. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the culture. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the movement. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the people.
Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the House of Hathor's Libation, Liberation Lifestyle Ceremony, that we continue to bring forth the enrichments, the enhancements, and the increase of the ancestors that they transcend, they instill, and they input all that is required for us to be the true vessels, altars, and temples, the true institution, industry, and the environment for the spirit to dwell within, for the soul to continue to outline us with everything that is required for us to be that which is innate within us. And as we continue to live, love, and learn the processes of life that governs our thoughts, words, and our actions, that we become liberated, free, that we become the true versions or inversions of ourselves, and that we continue to manifest, to generate our true reality upon the world, and that we don't ask for permission to be our authentic selves, because the Spirit has already anointed and ordained us to be what is innate within us, to be that which has been given life to us. And we want to make sure that we honor our ancestors, that we venerate our ancestors, and that we acknowledge them for everything that they continue to place upon us. And that every obstacle and hurdle that has been placed in our way, we will navigate ourselves around it, through it, over it, under it. It does not matter. We don't want to remove the obstacles and hurdles, because they are only there to protect us from anyone else that may want to try to reach us on our path. You see, this path that we're on, my brothers and sisters, it is a path that has already been placed before us through the breath of life. And the obstacles and hurdles that we navigate through, that we are instructed and directed to go around, to move through them or to move with them, it is there for our protection. So let us not worry about obstacles and hurdles, because they're only there to help us, to protect us, to guide us, to nurture us as spiritual beings having human experiences. So let us bring the ancestors involved into this day. Let them know that we are going to acknowledge them for everything that they have placed upon us, and that we as their temple, we as their vessel, we as their altar, that we have a greater understanding about the spiritual aspects of life that dwells within us. We call upon our ancestors far and near, fathers and mothers of our fathers, mothers and fathers of our mothers, to bear witness to all that we have done. And it is by your example that you continue to inspire us towards reclaiming our ancestral minds, regenerating our ancestral spirit, liberating our families, our homes, and our communities, and restoring our greatness as a people. We pour libation to bring into our midst your venerable ancestral spirit, radiating your great wisdom, your courage, your dedication, and your unyielding commitment to victory by any means necessary. It is in the honor of our Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors, our mothers and fathers, our sisters and our brothers, our children and their children, our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, our aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, and elders of the community, that we pour this libation in your honor, in the honor of the Creator, our great ancestor of all ancestors, and the various manifestations of the Creator Spirit. We pour libation. Ashe. For our esteemed ancestors, who laid the foundation for human civilization, and who provides the wisdom to which we live and the models by which our lives are guided, we pour libation. Ashe. And for our esteemed ancestors, who suffered the atrocities and the horrors of our Ma'afa, but yet demonstrated the victorious power of the ancestral spirit by maintaining their dignity no matter the cost. We pour libation. Ashe. And for our esteemed ancestors who survived and made it possible for us to be here today, that we continue the fight of our ancestral liberation and our vindication, we pour libation. Ashe. And finally, for our children and their children and future generations of our ancestors to come, that they too in their time will vindicate our race from all adversaries, and that they will continue to imprint upon the world the great genius of our ancestral humanity. We pour libation. Ashe. May your venerable spirit engulf this occasion to reaffirm our ancestral canity. It is done. Our great ancestor of all ancestors is satisfied. Ashe. 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 Dua Neter. So we say, Hotep, peace and power to you all this day, my brothers and sisters, that the ancestors continue to enlighten us. They continue to influence us. They continue to encourage us. They continue to inspire us. For they are the vessels, they are the spiritual beings that dwells within us as well as without us. And as we continue to live, love, and learn our processes of life, that we are in balance, we are in harmony, and we are in order of our truth. And we are justified always of being in balance, harmony, and in order of our truth. Now that truth, it is based upon our values, our cultural and our spiritual values, interests, and principles. You see, we have spiritual and cultural values. We have spiritual and cultural interests. We have spiritual and cultural principles. That is the foundation of all that exists within us. And we want to speak about that today because sometimes our people don't recognize or don't realize the reality of what our values, our interests, and our principles, what they stand for, what is it that they are, what are they supposed to be within us. The values, we say that they are the projection of everything that you give to the world, that you reveal to the world in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Those are your values. Your principle, your spiritual values, it is what you show the world in your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So as you think, as you speak, and as you do, that is those are your values. Those are the things that regardless to wherever you are, who you're around, what you do for yourself, those are the values that you hold true to. And whatever it is that you speak, you should never speak against your own values. You should never be thinking against your own values. You should never be doing anything that's against your values. Because those are the things that people recognize about you, that regardless to what's going on, regardless to who you're around, those are the things that you're going to always speak about. Whatever the topic is, whatever the area of activity that you're in at that time. And when we speak of areas of activity, we're talking about your economics, your education, your entertainment, your labor, the law, politics, your religion or spirituality, your relationships, as well as the protection that you have for yourself. Those are the values that we're speaking of. Those are the things in every area of people activity, regardless to what you're in, regardless to what that dimension that you're in, your values hold true. It doesn't change. You're not persuaded by anybody else because you know your values are your values that has been given to you through the Spirit. And your spiritual values, you don't have to really explain that to anyone. Your action, your thoughts, and your words will do it for you. You're not swayed in any way in your values because those are the things that hold you true to yourself. Your identity, your frame of reference, your worldview is all placed upon your values, interests, and your principles. But the values is what when we have conversations with people, when we're having any type of connection with anyone, your values hold true to everything. You can speak on anything because your values are going to always be a part of that. Those are your values. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change. Your interest has to do with your manifestation and your generation. When I'm talking about generation, I'm talking about not only the ancestors that live in you, but I'm talking about the energy that you possess. That energy goes towards your interests, your spiritual interests. That means that if you're manifesting and if you're generating, that means that you are producing things that are coinciding with your spiritual interests. That it also inculcates with your values. You see, your values are a part of your interests. Your interests are a part of your values. So everything is in balance, it's in harmony, and it's in order. Reciprocity and propriety is only based upon your values, your interests, and your principles. And your interests, your generator, your manifestation, it produces what the values are. Your interest produces what your spiritual values and your spiritual interests are. And we should not be living anywhere away from that. So as we live, as we love, and as we learn our processes of life, our values are how we communicate with others, how our relationships are guided in our marriages, in our children, in our family, in our community. Those are the values that we hold true to. And then what we produce, what we generate, what we create, what we manifest, we're doing that from our spiritual perspective. That means that everything that we live for is based upon our interests. Our purpose, our intentions, all of that is inculcated in our interests. So we don't produce anything, we don't create anything, we don't build anything that is not a part of our spiritual interests. And our principles is the foundation of life. That's what that is what all that is. It's the foundation of life, our grounding that we stand on. That is from our truth, justice, righteousness, harmony, balance, propriety, reciprocity, and order. That is what we stand on. You see, all of those things, they all are intertwined. They're interconnected. They're interrelated. They're interacting, and they're interdependent of each other. So anytime that you find yourself in a traumatic experience, if you're finding yourself around chaos, if you're finding yourself even around the obstacles and hurdles that are come your way, your foundation helps you to navigate. Your foundation, your principles help you to navigate through the different processes of life that are going to challenge you every day just to see if you're going to stand on those principles. You're tested. We're tested every day. We're tested every day by life and nature. We're tested every day by the people that we surround ourselves with. But that foundation that holds you together, it helps you to navigate through all of those processes so that you can stand firm on your principles. And when you stand firm on your principles, your values are easy to come out. And then you're always easy to build, to generate, to manifest, to create through your interests because you're standing firm on your principles and you're living on your values. You're standing on your values and you're living on your principles. You're living on your principles and you're standing firm on your values. And then everything that you create from those two foundational essence of life, it's a reflection, it's a projection that you're giving to the world because this is yours. It's no one else's but yours. You have your own interest that is only specifically for you. Now, I have to warn you, we are not individuals. I know that in our teachings that the people have taught us and we've been taught wrong. Because none of us are individuals. You don't stand alone. You need someone else and they need you in order for you to do what is required for you to do. That is the interconnection that we share with each and every one of us. We are not individuals, because if that was the case, you would not be held accountable for someone else's wrongdoings. You're held accountable if you're a part of what they're doing. So therefore, you have to recognize if it's something positive, then you receive the positive. If it's something negative, if you're with them, then you're going to receive it as well. So that means that we are a collective of people that are doing the work that we are required to do. That's a reflection as well as a projection of our spirit. So that is why it's important that you align yourself with people of like spirit, like mind, and like culture that is manifesting the truth of our reality. That's all this is about of living, manifesting the truth of your reality that comes from your spirit. And as the spirit continues to enhance, increase, and enrich you, then you are insured to make sure that you're living the life that you have already been anointed and ordained to live through the spirit. Everything happens through spirit. Nothing happens from the outside in, it happens inside out. And I'm going to always say these things to you, my brothers and sisters. I may say it in a different way because it's meant for somebody else that did not get it the last time. But we must recognize our true divinity within ourselves and knowing that we are interconnected with each other. But we must find those, we must be a part of those that have our like spirits, that have our like minds, that have our like culture, that has our like values, interests, and principles. Because if they don't, then we must move away from them. We can acknowledge them because that is the correct thing to do, acknowledging different people regardless of who they are and what they do, because you want to make sure that you know who they are and what they stand for. And that way you know how to discern the difference between your values, interests, and principles and someone else's values, interests, and principles. And if they don't align, then you must move forward to find those that have the same values, interests, and principles that are interdependent, interconnected, and interrelated with you so that you may interact through spirit with them. That is what the message from the ancestors is for us today. And we give thanks to them for always bringing us forward, remembering the past, but coming forward with the past so that you don't relive something that was not for you to live. But the only way that you can understand that and recognize that is if you know your values, your interests, and your principles. And that only comes through the spirit. No one else can teach you that. There's not a book that anybody can write that can tell you about your spiritual self. That only comes through spirit because spirit is the only thing that gave you your breath of life. Man didn't give you a breath of life. Spirit gave you the breath of life, and that same breath of life, it inculcates your values, your interests, and your principles. And the examples of that is only through life and nature. That is the life and nature is the only everlasting life in finite form that we can recognize that was here before us and it will be here after us. So we say peace and power to you all this day. Let us live, love, and learn our processes. Let us continue to learn everything that has been brought to us to learn for ourselves so that we may live the life that we have already been anointed and ordained to live. So we leave you this day with a cleansing of everything that you have attached yourself to in the days past so that you may be cleansed, absolved, and detached from any type of negative energy that you absorbed from life and nature or from any other person that you have connected with. So we say peace and power to you all and ashe to our ancestors.
O great ancestor of all ancestors, we call upon you this day that you will cleanse us of all negative energies that surrounds us, that you will break all work of negative magic that is against us, that you will take away from us all envy, evil, bad luck, and invincible enemies, and that you will bring protection, peace, and prosperity into our lives, into the lives of our children, our children's children, and our children's children's children, into the lives of our families, our homes, and our communities. We now lovingly and peacefully retrieve our energy from all that we have communicated with. We send them their energy back and any energy or energies attached to them. We now cleanse, clear, close, and lock all gates, portals, and access points. In the spirit of our ancestors, and in the spirit and in the energy of our Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors. Ashe, 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 Ashe.